Guys, you already know it's your boy Joe back again, man. We're gonna teach you a little bit about objects today, man. Make sure you subscribe because there's a continuation to a long series of videos on how to basically program JavaScript the easy way, right? Alright, so let's start with objects, right? So how do you declare an object? Right? Sorry about that. So the way how you declare an object is pretty much, let's say an example, you want to say a user, right? So inside of a user, we're gonna have different type of data for that user, right? So let's say we want to create the object by basically starting with curly brackets, right? We could do it like that. Now when you say user, is declared as an object. This curly brackets means it's an object, right? So how do you add properties, right, inside of an object? So let's say I could do user, and then I say name equals to Joe. All right. So now inside of user, there's, you see the name, and the name is Joe, right? So how do we get access to that, right? We basically say, okay, user dot whatever the properties name, whatever you decided to name this. I could name this old name or whatever I want, right? I could name this like this, a username, right? So user dot username, and then it's gonna return back Joe, right? Okay, so that's one way to basically add properties inside of a username, well, not username, an object, right? Also, too, let's say an example, we wanted to do this and say, hey, okay, I declared the user. Now, instead of just putting one thing at a time, I want to make a list of properties inside of this user. So what I would do is I'll declare it inside of it. So manually, right? So you will say, okay, username equals Joe. So inside of this, you could put in any type, strings, numbers, booleans, functions, which inside of a object is called a method, but it's just a function. All right. So let's say username, friends. Let's say Juan, Jenny, Mike. All right. That's an array. Now let's say single false. That's a boolean. What else? Username string. Okay. Age 29. That's a number. Now let's say what else we have. Username. We have a string, an array, a boolean, a number, and then now we could also have an object inside of an object. So like let's say hobbies, right? I don't know. You can go in and put an object, and let's say, I don't know, baseball, true, basketball, false. So now we have an object inside of an object, right? That's one. Now let's say a function, right? So let's say print name, and then let's say function, and then we say console log. Now let's say my name is, and then I say this dot username. And what this is doing is, this is saying inside of this object, go and search for username, right? So it's saying this, inside of this, go to username and print it here. So now, whenever I invoke this function, it's gonna print out, my name is Joe, right? So let's say an example. If we wanted to print out each one, let's say we could do it like this, username, and then, not username, user name, and then it's gonna print out Joe. Or I could say age, and it's gonna print out 29, right? So that's what's inside of that property. So this is the object, this is the property inside of an object. So this is the key, and this is the value of that key. So when I say, okay, user, and then basically the property is key, and I say, okay, age, and then it's gonna print out whatever the value is, which is 29. Also, I could do it with the dot, just how we did here. This dot username, we could do user dot username, and then that should print out Joe. You see? Now let's say for a function, we wanted to print out a function, right? And we want to basically run a function, right? Let's say user dot print name, and then with this parentheses, it means run this function. It says if you run this by itself, it's gonna give you what's inside of it. It's gonna say user dot print name equals to a function, right? A function name print name. But if you put this parentheses, that basically invokes it and just basically says, okay, run this function now. So that should say, you see, my name is Joe, because that's what we have here in the console log. And that's how it is. That's how you basically work with objects. It's that simple. You got any questions, leave a comment. Let me know what you think of the video. Make sure you subscribe. I'm keeping this super simple and, dummy proof. There's no point of me giving you some super large words and all of this. Let's keep this shit simple, man. There was a good saying that says, kiss, right? Keep it simple, stupid. That's it. So that's my motto, and I want you guys to learn this super quick, all right? Make sure you subscribe. It's your boy Joe.